Hey everybody, Chris the old ass retro gamer here, back for another video game collection live stream. Today is all about the Nintendo DS. And I'm going to say exactly what I say every time I do one of these live streams, and it's that I don't do these to brag. It's not about showing off everything I have in my collection because I'm like, look what I have and you don't. No, it's basically to have a video log of everything in my collection, like a snapshot of what I have, just in case something happens, like a fire or a robbery or something like that. I can say, hey, I have all this stuff in my collection. It was in my hands. Where's my money, insurance company? You know what I'm saying? So Nintendo DS, not a console I was all that interested in owning when it was first released. I had learned with the Game Boy Advance, which I did like, that handheld gaming was kind of not holding interest anymore for me. I just wanted to play games on my TV. I didn't want to play games in bed. I didn't want to do any of that kind of stuff. I didn't care if I could play a game on the go, because usually if I was going anywhere, I was the one doing the driving, so I couldn't play anything anyway. So I just kind of tuned out of portable gaming altogether when the DS came out. I didn't have any interest in buying that. I really didn't have any interest in the PSP, any of that kind of stuff. So I just went, out of the way, Peck. to quote Willow. So, when did I get into the DS was when I got back into collecting in 2013. Or I think it was around 2014. I decided I wanted to get a 3DS. And like Nintendo seems to do a lot, they make their products backwards compatible. The original couple models of the DS were backwards compatible with the Game Boy Advance. And the the Nintendo 3DS was compatible with all Nintendo DS games, or at least all the ones that I own. I know they said there was a few that wouldn't be able to be played, but none of the ones in my collection are like that as far as I know. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get a 3DS, was because not only would I be able to play 3DS games, which I thought started to look pretty fantastic, I could also go into that backlog of DS games that I was never able to play back when they were released because I just didn't care. So I've really grown to love the... Excuse me. Getting over a very bad cold. Last week I was supposed to do this live stream. I had the worst flu that I've ever had in my life. Like last Thursday, the reason I couldn't stream, I was passing in and out all day long. I think I was awake for a grand total of 2 hours last Thursday. And it's still kind of affecting me. I'm going to be coughing. You might see me, get a little sweaty for no reason whatsoever. It's still the remnants of this nasty ass flu. But anyway, once I got into collecting for the DS, I learned that I was kind of a fool, and I really should have been collecting this thing from the get-go. Yes, there's a lot of shovelware on this system, just like on the Wii. A lot of garbage came out for this thing, but I've managed to avoid all that kind of stuff, and I have no interest in buying any of that. I just want what I consider to be the best games for this console. So, shall we get into it? Thought so. All right, so, before we start, wet my whistle a little bit. I've basically been living off Gatorade for the last week, thanks to that nasty-ass flu. And if anyone saw Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie, let me know. Let's talk about that. So, to start off with, I still haven't played it because it's still sealed. You'll find a lot of games in these stacks sealed because I haven't had time to play them. And the majority of those are RPGs. Shocker. We've got 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. This is the first part of the Nonary. What is it? The Nonary Files or something? There's 3 games in this series. This is the first one. I think this is the original cover for it. Eventually, I got a different cover that just has like 999 on the front. I made a real effort to try to find this copy of it because it was more visually interesting, obviously. But it's an RPG / visual novel or something. Like I said, I haven't played it yet. You have 9 hours before Junpei and his 8 fellow abductees drown. Numerology, music composition, and logic puzzles are just a few of the 30-plus obstacles that stand in the way of their freedom. You have to use everything in your environment to get out. Solve the mysteries that cloud your companions' past and unveil the disturbing future. I really wanted to play it, just haven't had the time. I have played this, though. Advance Wars, Days of Ruin. I want to say this is part 3 in the series. There are 2 games for this on the Game Boy Advance, I think. Possibly, I can't remember. But it's a strategy game, but it's more of like an arcadey strategy game. I found these more accessible than your standard strategy game, like a Fire Emblem or something. But I've enjoyed what I have played of this series. The first print run, there was a second printing with a different cover. That's what I was just saying. I wanted this one because I think this cover is more interesting. The other one I know just has like 999 written across the front. And I was like, that's really generic. By the way, welcome, TJ. How you doing? Next up, we have one that I found randomly, and then everyone tells me that it was a really good game, and I should have had this a long time ago. So, it's called Again. It's an interactive crime novel. The best part of this is you have to hold your DS like a book. And play through it like that. That's kind of awesome. Like I said, you're going to be hearing a lot of this tonight. Sipping on a Kentucky Winter Golden Stout, very filling. Woo! I need some alcohol to fix my throat. But I haven't really played a whole lot of this. I tried it out just so I could see how the whole book holding mechanic plays out, and it's pretty cool. I have another game in this stack that does the exact same thing. A lot better, though. Here's an awesome one from Way Forward. We have Aliens Infestation. This game is absolutely fantastic. You want to talk about an awesome, like, run and gun with horror elements, and also is like roguelike a little bit because there's a lot of permadeath going on in this thing. This is the game for you. If you are a fan of the Alien franchise, this is one of the best games out there. You have like 4 Marines to choose from. Each one of them has their own specialties. Like some are better with machine guns, some are better with heavy weapons, some are really fast. And you've got this whole infestation, and you got this infestation in this facility that you have to burn out. And if you die, or one of your characters dies, they are unavailable for the rest of the game. And I think the best ending comes with keeping all 4 characters alive the entire time. It's fantastic. It really has all the sound effects, all this, the guns, the power loaders. Everything you know about Aliens and that you love about Aliens is in here. It's one of the best games based on this license. I would not expect anything less from Way Forward. Unless it's this. American Dragon, Jake Long. Attack of the Black Dragon. For a long time, I was on a Way Forward kick. I wanted every Way Forward game I could possibly get my hands on. They made a lot of junk for the Nintendo DS. And this is one of them. It's based on a Disney cartoon that I've never heard of in my life. Never knew it existed. Got this for a whopping $3 at a local store. And when I saw Way Forward on the back, I said, give it to me. And yeah, I played it for like a whopping 2 minutes. And I said, and I'm good. It's like a little 3D platformer, I guess. It's just kind of bleh. Looks like garbage. It plays like garbage. Although there is Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Isn't this a spinoff of another Ace Attorney series? I cannot remember. There are so many of these things floating around. Yeah, Phoenix Wright. Yeah, this is a follow-up, I guess. It says Phoenix Wright has turned in his badge, so rookie defense attorney Apollo Justice makes his debut. Okay, I was not aware of this. I'm thinking I got the first game in the series, and it turns out I probably have the last. But it's a courtroom procedural. It's a lot of point-and-clicking type things going on. Really fun. I never thought stuff like this or any of the surgery simulator-type games that use the stylus in all these weird ways would work. Turns out they were super freaking popular. Who knew? Who knew that pretending to be a lawyer would be fun? It kind of is. This one I picked up just for shits and giggles. This has additional DS features? Like what? Well, whatever. Avatar, the video game. It's a top-down run and gun, I guess. It looks to me like I always thought when I bought it, it was like Contra 3 from the top down. So, yeah. It's definitely better than the 3D versions that came out on the 360 and the PS3. This one's awesome. This is by one of my favorite developers, Treasure. Bangai-O Spirits. I can't remember where I found this at, but it was at a store. Might have been Disc Replay. But it's like a puzzle shmup. You have like you're like a tiny little robot, and you have to collect these little fruits that are all over the level. You also have to escape the maze that you find yourself in, and you have like a finite amount of rockets that you can launch. You can launch 100 of them at once if you really want to, but you really shouldn't. And you have to like use your rockets wisely in order to blast your way out of this maze that you're stuck in. And each level gets more crazier and crazier. There's boss battles and stuff like that. It's fantastic. I have this for the Dreamcast also, and it is nuts. These games are super fun, super challenging. I highly, highly recommend it. You can actually see in one of the pictures that like you've launched like 100 freaking rockets at once. It's absolutely crazy, but it's a fun game. Here's a diamond in the rough if there was one for a licensed game. I think I talked about this in one of my Top 3 Tuesday videos. It's Batman Brave and the Bold, the video game. There's also a version of this available on the Wii. It is the better version, but this is not too shabby. It's also by Way Forward, and it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up where you get to play as all these different characters from the Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon show. Green Lantern. Like, do they even tell you who's in here? Well, on the back you can see Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Hawkeye, or not Hawkeye, Aquaman. Who is that? Red Tornado. God, I can't remember how many characters. And you can also unlock Batmite if you really want to. I wouldn't. But the animation is absolutely fantastic. The gameplay is great. I really recommend this one. That one is fantastic. And I bought this because 007 Bloodstone. It's a port of the console game. Came out for the 360 and the PS3. I'm not sure if it came out for the Wii or not. I don't think so. What's up, Renaissance? What's up, Brochacho? Welcome. I have played and I have beaten the PlayStation 3 version of this game, and it is actually pretty fun. It's an original story. It takes place in the James Bond universe where Daniel Craig is Bond. It's pretty cool. It was really short. It has kind of like a really quickie ending, which kind of ticked me off. But it's a third-person, like, cover-based shooter, kind of like Gears of War with James Bond in it. And I was really curious to see how that would play out on the Nintendo DS, so I had to have it. And it's actually not too shabby. I'd rather play the full-on console game, but yeah. Sweet shirt text. Mortal Kombat! Here's the only import game I have in my entire DS collection. And you'll probably not be surprised when you see what it is. And it is Buffy the Vampire Slayer's Sacrifice. This is an exclusive to, I do believe, the UK. And it's like playing a Resident Evil game with Buffy the Vampire Slayer in it. I found this on eBay one day when I was putzing around while I was visiting my brother in LA. And I saw it pop up. I think I was looking for the Game Boy Advance game, and this popped up in my search. I was like, know nothing about that. So I looked it up, and it was pretty cheap, so I picked it up, and it's all right. I mean, like I said, it's Resident Evil, so it has the tank controls and crappy dialogue. Not nearly as funny as the show was, but it's not bad. I now can say with this, I have every Buffy game available for a console or home or a console or a portable platform. Buffy! Do you get chased by vampires? No, sorry. No, not in this one. There's no voice acting in this if I remember correctly. Sorry, but it does have an original storyline and 20 unique Slayer weapons. And now we have a threefer. I have all three of the games in this series now. I can actually play them, but I kind of need to get the Game Boy Advance games first because I think they lead into these. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think they all kind of connect. But we have Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, Castlevania Order of Ecclesia, and Castlevania Portrait of Ruin. These are Metroidvanias, some of the finest out there. I have played a lot of Dawn of Sorrow, and I love it, but I heard that you probably should play the three games available for the Game Boy Advance first, because like I said, I think I heard they connect somehow, so why not? What's up, Shondo? How's it going? No real Resident Evil ripoffs? Stars. Yeah, no Buffy. No, they'd be walking around going, Summers. But fantastic games. I can't wait to be able to play through all three of these in a row, if I can. Hopefully, it'll happen. Picked this up because last year at the Midwest Gaming Classic, I picked up the Super Nintendo game in this series, and I realized there's a lot more games in this series that I should probably own, so I picked up a copy of Children of Mana, sequel to Secret of Mana, which is what I picked up last year at the Midwest Gaming Classic. And I tried each and every one of these games just to see what they're like. They're any different from each other. They're actually pretty fun. Little like action RPG games. I really like the one that I picked up for the Game Boy Advance. I think it's Sword of Mana. That one was really fun. Like, I ended up playing that way too long when I was capturing footage. But can't wait to be able to play through all these in a row, hopefully. I need a couple more, I think. I'm doing pretty good, Shondo. How are you? Still getting over this horrible flu that I had. I'm still kind of feeling it. Like, I'm fine. I'm up and about, but coughing like coughing a lung up. Goddamn. So, let's say you're one of these people that are like, you know what? I really want to play Earthbound. It's $800. Fuck that noise. What do? You can buy a copy of Contact on the DS. It's RPG. It's very similar theme-wise to Earthbound. You play as like a little kid, aliens, stuff like that. It's like a cheap alternative, and it's at its own unique story. It's actually pretty fun. Nintendo actually turned me onto this one, and I was really surprised. I picked it up and I played through, I want to say, the first half of it, and I was like really, really digging it. Like, I did not think that this would be something that appealed to me, and then because of how much I like this, I really started to consider trying to find a copy of Earthbound out there, because I was like, if I like this, and everyone's saying that it's like a companion piece almost to Earthbound, I think I'll really like that game too. I highly recommend picking this one up. It is dirt cheap, I think. Nowadays it is. Back when I picked it up, it was kind of getting up there in price, but I highly recommend this one. Yomawari Midnight Shadows? Yeah, I think that's for the PS4, right? Here's an awesome one by White Ford. Another one of my favorite games on this console, and that's Contra 4. How many games did it take to get to this one? How many games were in between Contra 3 on the Super Nintendo and the real Contra 4? We had 2 crappy games on the PlayStation 1. We had 2 PlayStation 2 games. One of them was really good, and one of them I do not like. And then I think we had Contra Rebirth on the Wii, and then Contra 4, like the official Contra 4. And this is the Contra game you've been waiting for. It is just like playing one of the classic ones, except you have both screens to play on. So the bottom screen is the one where your character will spend most of his time, but you can use a like a hook shot or whatever to latch on to things on the top screen and climb up there and start doing, Contra-y things up there as well. And it's really fun. It has the end of the screen levels, just like when you're in the bases in the original Contra. It has scenes like that. It's fantastic. It is just like Contra that you remember, and I love it. Absolutely love it. It's fantastic. I was really excited about these, and then when I actually played them, I was just kind of like, eh. It's Dementium, The Ward, and the sequel, Dementium 2. These are first-person horror games. It's a shooter where you're like locked in an insane asylum, and there's creatures all over the place, and you're trying to get out. And I thought that was really a cool idea for a DS game, like first-person shooter on the DS. It should work, right? It doesn't work as well as I had hoped. It's kind of awkward to control, especially when you're a left-hander and you're trying to hold a stylus. So I honestly, as a right-hander, it would probably be easier. I'm not. I'm a lefty, so it's a little more difficult for me to play. But, I mean, if you're into the idea of a first-person shooter horror game on the DS, these are pretty cool. They're not bad games. It's just, like I said, I have a hard time playing them and controlling them well. Gotta start them young. What the hell conversation did I walk into? Goddamn. Diddy Kong Racing DS. I never played the original Diddy Kong Racing on the Nintendo 64 because can't stand the Nintendo 64. So when I got back into collecting, I was like, hey, this will be the next best thing. It's by Rare, which is one of my favorite developers. Actually, I don't know if this one is. The one that came out on the 64 is. I don't think this one is because a couple of characters are missing from this, like, Conquer. Decent port. For my use, fine. I can get along. I can get by just playing this. I might eventually try to seek out the Nintendo 64 version, but it's a kart racing game with, Donkey Kong characters and a bunch of original ones that ended up getting their own games like Conquer. Oh, that's what I... Oh, gotcha. All right, here we go. Damn, okay. Have not played these. They are still sealed. We have Dragon Quest IV, Chapters of the Chosen, and Dragon Quest V, Hand of the Heavenly Bride. Got these at a Square Enix clearance sale on their website. And usually when I first go there, I try to get a copy of Chrono Trigger, but everyone beats me to it because F you. So I always end up trying to find things that eventually I might want to play. And one of my goals is to play, like, a lot of RPGs. I love RPGs. Dragon Quest, I played the original Dragon Warrior. I want to play Dragon Warrior 2 through 27, whatever they're up to now. And I figured these would be a good way to do it. I got them dirt cheap off that website, so why not? But haven't played them, so I can't really comment. You know what I'm saying? Dragon Quest on the DS feels right. Good to know, Seth. Welcome to the stream, by the way. We have another Dragon Quest game. This one I picked up at Game Dude in California when I was visiting my brother in LA. Dragon Quest Heroes Rocket Slime. My friend Elizabeth told me that when she had hurt her back, this was one of those games that got her through the pain. She played this like nonstop. And I think it's supposed to be like a Legend of Zelda style game. I have not played it yet. You know, surprise, surprise. But it looks pretty cool, and she says it's super freaking fun. So the first thing that came to mind when I heard like Dragon Quest, like Rocket Slime, I'm thinking it's supposed to be like Pokemon, but that's, I think, the Joker games is like that, which is something that I probably would not be into. Drawn to Life and Drawn to Life, the next chapter. These are adventure platformers, but the cool thing is it has this like drawing mechanic where if you need a sword, you draw a sword with the stylus on the screen and your character will have a sword, that kind of thing. So it's like puzzle based also. So pretty cool idea. There's a couple of these I have on the Wii U, which makes sense because of the stylus pad on the controller. So why not? It sounded like an interesting idea, so I picked them up. Got them dirt cheap too. Tried this one out when I first got it. I remember everyone was telling me that this game was so much fun when it first came out, and I was like, okay, and it's a rhythm game, so Chris, you'll like it a lot. You love rhythm games. Sure, I'll do it. And then I buy it, and I absolutely can't stand it. I'm thinking about getting Yomari Midnight Chess because it's on sale. What's it like? I don't know. I haven't played it. I just remember Radical Reggie telling me about it all the time. We're talking here, Elite Beat Agents. Do not recommend. It's a rhythm game where there's like these 3 government agents that like to dance and do karaoke or whatever, and you have to do movements with the stylus along with the beat and stuff. And no. Just no. I couldn't get into it. And I love rhythm games. I couldn't do it. Haven't played this yet because it's part of a series, and then everyone tells me, wow, Chris, you bought the worst one in the series to start with. Like I said, I wasn't planning on starting with this one. I want to play through all of them. I just happened to buy this one first. Etrian Odyssey 2 Heroes of Lagarde. Another RPG. Looks like it's more of a dungeon crawl type of situation. Haven't played it yet, so your guess is as good as mine. If Reggie likes it, I'll grab it. Excuse me. Ooh, should probably get some of this Gatorade in me. Gatorade saved my life. True story. This is the only way, at least for a little while, that you could play Final Fantasy III on the Game Boy, or I keep wanting to call it the Game Boy, the Nintendo DS. Yeah, this is the only one that had not had any kind of release anywhere else in the U.S. Like Part 5, we never got over here originally. Eventually came out on the PlayStation 1 in a compilation. We never got Part 2 originally. Eventually came out on the Game Boy Advance in a compilation, and on the PlayStation 1 as well. But Part 3 was the one that we never had gotten, and this was the first place we did get it. And from what I understand, the job system in it is kind of wonky. But there's a reason why it wasn't released over here. This is not the best in the series, but gotta have all the Final Fantasies, man. Haven't played it, though. Big surprise! Yeah, I got most of these, which are still sealed, from the DS, or the Square Enix store, one of their sales. I just go for the ones that I know. So, Final Fantasy 4 Heroes of Light. It's an RPG. Final Fantasy 12 Revenant Wings. This is a spin-off from Final Fantasy 12. It's an RPG. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Echoes of Time. It's an RPG. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Ring of Fates. It's another RPG. And Final Fantasy Tactics 8-2 Grimoire of the Rift. It's a tactical RPG. I haven't played any of them. I have played this one, though. Glory of Heracles. This is by, I think, Hudson, and Nintendo released it. And it is actually a pretty cool action RPG. A lot of stylus garbage you got to do in it. That's the only thing I do not like about the DS is all the stylus crap. But, like, you want to cast spells and stuff, you have to do, like, this tapping mechanic with numbers on the second screen. It'll be like numbers 1 through 12 in Roman numerals are listed here in this, like, map thing. Hit all the numbers in order as fast as you can in order to cast this spell. Okay. Did I do it? Yay! Flashy things happen! Yay! You know, it's cool, though. This, I think, is a sequel to a game that came out originally on the original Famicom. We never got it over here. We can get a repro if you really want. But it's pretty fun. I like this one a lot. I haven't beaten it, though, but I can't say that I've played it. That's saying something. Yeah. Every Nintendo system has some weird gimmick. Yeah, no shit. Pick this one up because why not? I have the other two games in the series. They are on the Nintendo DS. I talked about them, or not. Wow, the Nintendo DS. I talked about them in the Game Boy Advance live stream. Golden Sun, Dark Dawn. This is the third game in the series. Haven't played it yet because I haven't played through the other games. Have played this, though. Guilty Gear Dust Strikers. Picked this up because Radical Reggie was talking about it in one of his videos. And it's a... Well, Guilty Gear is normally a 2D, hand-animated, one-on-one fighting game like Street Fighter. This is a beat-em-up in that universe. There's another one for Guilty Gear called Guilty Gear Judgment that came out on the PSP, which is a beat-em-up as well. So, absolutely had to get it. I absolutely love the Guilty Gear games. I love the animation. I love the characters. They're so freaking crazy. So, why not get the beat-em-up? And you know what? It's pretty awesome. I like this one a lot. This one's one of the worst Guilty Gear games. Isuka? I don't think I've played Isuka. Picked this one up at GameStop because why not? It was like $1.50. Great Empires Rome from the History Channel. It's a, is this a real-time strategy? Yeah, classic strategy game and an intuitive controls that Nintendo DS demands. Or doesn't demand. I don't know. But I picked this up because it was a few bucks and I'd been looking for a strategy game to play on the DS in case I wanted to. So that fit the bill. Can't be too bad. Here's another game in that Mana series. We've got the Heroes of Mana. Haven't played it yet. More action RPG goodness. Okay, so we're going to talk about this. I brought it up in the original pickup video where I talked about it. And it ended up turning into something with Radical Reggie. Radical Reggie always, every time I talk to him or do a Skype video with him, he always wants to talk about this damn game. It's a terrible game. It is. It's because of what it is that he always wants to talk about. Because it is kind of racially insensitive. And the only reason I bought it was because the people that I used to work with at my old job used to collect these little action figures from vending machines because they thought they were funny. I really didn't. I think I still have one that I was given. It's a dude in a wheelchair. But I think you know what I'm talking about. Homies. The little, like... Latino caricatures or whatever you want to call them. Racial stereotypes is what I kept calling them in little action figure form. Eventually they went and made like black ones and they made Asian ones and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, really? And no. My boss at my old job actually got so pissed off that the people that were collecting them were like leaving them at work and like stacking them up that he like threw them all out. He was like, no, this place does, no, you cannot have these here. So then I found out that there was a video game out there based on Homies, and I said, I kind of want it, kind of afraid to see what kind of a game it is, but I bought it. We're talking Homie Rollers. It's a Homie kart racing game. one of the most racially insensitive games I know. And I own it just because I can laugh at it, because it is so stupid. Okay, so you can play as like a little cholo guy who obviously is running around in some lowrider and all that. And the worst part of this is there's a Latin character in this that you can drive a burrito. Why? Why is that a thing? Why did people think that was a good idea? Well, it got me to buy it because I was more curious than anything, and it's not a good game. It's a terrible kart racer, and it's kind of embarrassing, but it's a nice talking point. Like I said, every time I talk to Radical Reggie, he's like, "You still got that homie rollers, bro?" It's like, oh man, what? Honeycomb Beat. I think this is a rhythm game also, like a puzzle rhythm game, but I have not played it yet. I got it for like a whopping $1.50 at Half Price Books. So I said, why not? And it's by Hudson, and I trust Hudson. They make some pretty decent games. Yeah. Yo, dog, Daz Raisin. Shut up, man. Okay, I'll talk to you later, bro Chacho. Thanks for stopping by. It's been a long time since you've been on one of my streams. God damn. Miss you, bro. Miss you on the YouTubes. God, my throat is going absolutely nuts. Anyway, so before when I was talking about that video game again, how you have to hold it like a book, well, I have another game that's like that. And that's Hotel Dusk Room 215. This is another visual novel mystery game. And yes, you have to hold your Nintendo DS like a book and flip through pages and stuff like that and tap things on the screen when you need to in order to solve a murder mystery. It's actually pretty cool. I like this one a lot. This one's better than Again by far. And the story is a little more involving, and I like the characters, and a little messed up, but why not? It's actually pretty cool. Pick this one up because this is way forward. I know this is PlatinumGames. I wanted it because of PlatinumGames, and I know the kind of games they normally make. You know, you've played Bayonetta. You played the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. You played that Transformers game. They're like crazy beat-em-ups, you know, with psychotic moves and flashy shit and seizure-inducing flashes and shit. So I was like, oh, cool, I can't wait to see what they do on the DS with Infinite Space, and it's a strategy game. So I was disappointed. Everyone wants this game. Okay, you can have it. It's all right. Picked this one up for like a whopping $2 or $3 at a local store once, and I thought, why not? It looked a little bit like it belonged in the Psychonauts universe. That's Insecticide. It's like a third-person platformer where you play as like this female bug detective who's investigating a bunch of murders. One of the more uncommon Sega games. Yeah, it's all right though. Detective, what is it? Chrysalis. Chrysalis. Get it? Chrysalis? I did cleverness. It's okay. I just wanted it because it looked very, like I said, look at the cover. I mean, it looks like it belongs in the Psychonauts universe, doesn't it? A little bit. So I figured it was the same artist. I don't know why I still have these now that I have the collection on the PlayStation 4, but maybe I'll keep them just for shits and giggles. Kingdom Hearts. What is this? $3.58 over 2 days. And Kingdom Hearts Recoded. I do not understand this franchise. I do not. I like it. I do not know what they are doing with the names. How do these connect and fall into, like, what order do they go in? There's Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, then Kingdom Hearts 99.22, and it's just like, I don't understand. Where do these go? I don't understand. Where do these fit into the puzzle? I'm confused. My brain hurts. I don't like it. Make it stop. Okay. But it's a RPG with Disney characters. What's not to like? Tron's in it, so I must own it. Because Tron is awesome. Kirby Mass Attack. I don't think I have played this one, but I love Kirby games, so I had to pick it up. This one I have played. This one is weird. The Legendary Starfy. I think this is a series of games on the Game Boy Advance in Japan. We never got any of them over here. And this is like a port of one of them to the DS. So I thought it was Nintendo trying to start a new franchise. Turns out the franchise had been going on for a long time. We just never got to play them. So it's a platformer that takes place underwater. You play as this little starfish guy who for some reason lives in a castle in the sky. That makes no sense. And yeah, it's like playing Kirby a little bit. It's fun. It's really harmless and easy. You can beat this game in an afternoon if you really wanted to. Most convoluted storyline ever. No shit. And I only played part 1 for about an hour and a half, and I was just like, I don't understand what's happening. My brains are melting out my ears. Had to pick this one up because it's a sequel to a game that I love on the NES. Had no clue that this even existed. So once I saw it pop up in my Amazon, like, you may like this because you bought this, I was like, you damn right, I think I like this. Legend of Kage 2. When was there a sequel to Legend of Kage made? There was no advertisements, there was no brouhaha about it. I don't know. So how did this slip by me? Because I might have bought a DS sooner if I knew about it. Well, whatever. Taito released this just like the original game, and it's actually pretty cool. It's a little more complex and complicated when compared to the one that came out on the NES, obviously. But it is still a sort of like a platformer beat 'em up where you do a lot of really high jumping. But this one has more of a story than the NES game, which is very welcome, and a lot of blood. And it's really cool. A lot of magic and stuff like that you can do. I highly recommend picking this one up. This is definitely a diamond in the rough on the DS. Remember Kenna! Kenna forever in our hearts! Cap! Yay, yay! Got all the money, or at least I got enough money to reserve the room now at the restaurant. So tomorrow it's happening. And the more money we get, the better our package can be for beers and whatnot. So things are looking up. The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass. Cap came in just in time to see Toon Link. Glutton for pain. Phantom Hourglass, I have not played this one, but like I said, it is Toon Link. It is a sequel or a spin-off from Wind Waker. There is sailing in it, so therefore... It's alright. There's also... Wow, that almost turned into like a sneeze. There's also Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks, another Toon Link game. Hate Toon Link, hate him. But I have not played this one. But this one looks more like a traditional Legend of Zelda game. It's top-down, looks like the original game or Link to the Past. So if there's one I'm going to play, it's probably going to be this one. Get out of here with that Zelda crap. Let's chow down, fuckers. Never playing that one. Yeah, they're saying, like, look. Put your eyes, lay your eyes on that sailing action right there. Let me see if I can angle it better. There you go. Just for Cap. For Cap's eyes only. Peep that shit. Okay, so another game I bought just because Way Forward made it. Like I said, I was trying to get all the Way Forward games, or as many as I possibly could for a little while. This happened to be one of them. Looney Tunes Duck Amuck. And it's like a bunch of mini games where you play as Daffy Duck, and it just sucks. It really sucks. I mean, the boringness of just the pictures on the back say it all. Lame as F. Meh. Buffalo Wild Wings, goddamn. Did you get the blazing? Okay, so who here has seen the Blue Lagoon? You know, the like semi-porn movie with Brooke, what was her name? Brooke Shields from like the early 80s or late 70s, I don't know. And then there was another one with Mila Jovovich in it. Mila Jovovich. Anyway, for some reason, Konami thought that we should make some games kind of Blue Lagoon-esque for the DS. And you got Lost in Blue 2, and Lost in Blue 3. Basically, you're trapped on an island. They're kind of like first-person games in some areas where you have to like do archery to like hunt fish and shit like that. Or hunt boar in order for food or whatever. But like a lot of it's like puzzle stuff. There's a lot of mini games. It's okay. There's a lot of platforming and stuff like that, exploration. I tried getting into them. I've tried a couple times, and it's okay, but it's not the best. You don't do the spicy. It's okay. I like the Caribbean Jerk is my favorite. Okay, so this one was interesting. This one snuck up on me. I found this at a local store, and I was like, when did this happen? Okay, so I used to go to this convention called Gen Con. It's all about board games and card games and tabletop RPGs and stuff like that. Because I used to be a big into that before I got back into the game collecting. And one of the games that I had play tested, I want to say probably in 2013 or 2012, I think it was 2012, was this game called Mage Knight. And I had no idea that Mage Knight had been licensed to be turned into a video game on the DS, because that's kind of interesting because the game is kind of terrible. It's like HeroClix-esque, if I remember correctly. And this is a top-down RPG, I think. I haven't tried it yet. Deep and structured combat system based on established Mage Knight rules that provide proven and solid gameplay. 70 maps, build your custom army. Yeah. I had to get it just because of the board game connection. It looks alright. I'll eventually give it a shot. This one's pretty awesome. It took me buying this twice in order to get one that I could actually play. Magical Star Sign. This was actually released by Nintendo. It's an RPG, which is pretty awesome. It's kind of weird angle-wise when you do like your fights. It's kind of like, I don't know, you can kind of see it here. You're kind of like down in the bottom corner, you're angling upwards. It's kind of neat, and it uses the screens. Both screens are used for the combat and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I originally bought this off of Amazon, and I got a UK version of it when that comes in like the real thick cases, like my Buffy did. And I was like, this was not what I bought. So I sent it back, and then I eventually found a brand new copy of it on eBay and got that. And I tried it out, and I really enjoyed it, but it's an RPG. Don't have time for RPGs. But you want to talk about fun RPGs? These are ones that Cap could get into. And I know he's not a big fan on the RPGs. I have the Wii Lost in Blue as well. It's not too bad. What is that? Shipwrecked? These are RPGs that I think Cap could appreciate. Mario and Luigi, Partners in Time, and Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story. These are basically sequels to Super Mario RPG. There's two of them for the Game Boy Advance, or just the one? I have one. In fact, am I looking at it right now? Yeah, I have the one for the I keep on wanting to call my Game Boy Advance the DS, and the DS the Game Boy Advance. Oh, God, I'm stupid sometimes. But yeah, Mario RPGs, Mario and Luigi Tag Team. This one you get to travel through time, obviously. I haven't played this one a whole lot. This one I have played a lot. This one is the one where you get shrunk and eaten by Bowser, and you have a little fight and a little adventure inside Bowser's tummy. So, it's pretty cool. I really like them. These are pretty fun. Whew. Superstar Saga, that's the one for the Game Boy that I have. So, this is the game that got me into Mario Kart. I never, ever played Mario Kart back in the day. I never had it for the Super Nintendo. I never played it on the 64 because I hated the 64. Never played it anywhere, not on the Game Boy Advance or anything. When I got back into collecting, there was a guy in a video game group that I was in that was selling like a whole crap load of DS games by Nintendo. I got this. I got a couple more in the stack, a couple of Mario games. I got some Pokemon games. I got a whole crap. I think I got like 10 games from this guy. And I was like, oh, look, there's a Mario Kart game in here. I should probably try Mario Kart DS and see what the big hubbub is. And I was like, okay, I understand it now. I see what I've been missing. This series is pretty fun. And then I started actively going out and trying to find all the other Mario Kart games in the series. And I have them all now. Every single one of them. So, yeah, Mario Kart DS got me into the series. Thankfully, I absolutely love it. It's not my favorite in the series, though, I'll say that. Hey, what's up, Kamui? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. I have the original for the Game Boy Advance, I think. Yes. Mario vs. Donkey Kong. This is Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, March of the Minis. It's a puzzle platformer. The original one I like. The music drives me absolutely up a wall. It's like nails on a chalkboard. It is so tinny. It makes me crazy. This one is a big upgrade in the sound department, I will say. But yeah, this one you have like a whole bunch of little tiny Marios doing your bidding for you and help you get to areas you normally can't while you're trying to kill Donkey Kong. It's actually pretty fun. I like it a lot. Puzzle platformer. Got these at a Target for like $2 each, and I said, why not? I think a compilation of these was just released. We got Mega Man ZX and Mega Man ZX Advent. I tried out Mega Man ZX just to see what it was, and it felt to me like I was playing Mega Man X. Is this supposed to be like a spin-off of the Mega Man X series? Or the spin-off of the spin-off? Whatever. It's Mega Man. Or they are Mega Man. Why not? Still kind of recovering from a cold, Kamui, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good. Or not a cold, I'm recovering from a really bad case of the flu. Alright. One of my favorite franchises, Metroid. We got Metroid Prime Hunters and Metroid Prime Pinball. Metroid Prime Pinball is pretty cool. I really like Crew Ball on the Sega Genesis. It's Motley Crue Pinball. I really like Devil's Crush on my TurboGrafx. I love Alien Crush. I love digital pinball, period. Pinbot on the NES is probably one of my favorite NES games ever. So, like, I'm always up for a cool pinball game based on a license I love, like Sonic Spinball. I love Sonic Spinball. And the cool thing is, if you had a Nintendo DS, like one of the early versions, I think up until the DS Lite, the ones that actually had a port for the Nintendo DS cartridges, this actually came with a rumble pack that you could insert in it to, like, make your DS shake, which is pretty cool. The game is really fun. I really like this one a lot. It comes, yeah, I had to get the rumble pack separately when I bought this. It didn't have it, but it was pretty cool. I like it a lot. This one, on the other hand, this Metroid Prime Hunters, no. I like Metroid Prime. I like them on the GameCube. I think they're pretty great first-person Metroid games. I didn't think it would work. It did. So naturally, I was like, hey, I got to try that one that came out on the DS. And I can't get out of the first area. I can't figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do. You're supposed to, like, you're supposed to roll up into the ball and make your guy bounce to get up to this platform. And I cannot make him bounce, or make her bounce. I don't know why. And I was just like, you know what? The hell with this game. If I can't even get out of the first area, you can eat my ass. So I haven't gone anywhere else with it. So there's that. Yeah, Metroid Prime Pinball is pretty fun. I like I said, if one of the games I'm going to be looking for, spoiler alert, everybody who's going to be looking forward to my 5 games I'm looking for at the Midwest Gaming Classic, one of the games I'm looking for there is House of the Dead Pinball. I had that back in the day and I absolutely loved it and I miss it so much. And then the other day I was thinking, I was at work, and I'm sitting there going like, what was that game I was always playing that was like a horror pinball game, and I could not remember what the hell it was. And then it finally came to me, oh yeah, that was House of the Dead Pinball. Must have it. Thunder Force 3 definitely is. Yeah, there is a House of the Dead Pinball, and it's awesome. Might and Magic Clash of Heroes. I like the Might and Magic games, so the thing about this one is I think it's a glorified mobile game, because it's like you have all these characters like on the bottom screen looking upward, and you have the enemy characters at the top of the screen facing downward, and you like combat, and you have like fights. And to me, it reminds me of like some of the older mobile games and stuff that I used to play. So I saw this, it was like, I got this for like $5. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I think this also was available as like a download on the 360 or something. It was like, I was familiar with it, which is why I bought it. But then I'm looking at it, I was like, did I really need it? This one I always wanted. I think, Cap, you just beat this one not too long ago, didn't you? It's Moon. It's a first-person shooter, science fiction first-person shooter on the moon, obviously. And I always wanted it. I found this, I think, on Amazon pretty cheap, so I picked it up. Haven't played it a whole lot. I played through it just a little bit. I liked what I played, but I need to put more time into it. Full transparency, I don't think I've charged my 3DS in probably 2 years. I haven't played anything. Had to have this. They had this at my local half-price books, and for some reason they had it locked up in like their specialty case. Cap's been there to the half-price books by where I work. I took him there. So, like, they locked the expensive stuff up in this one specific case. And I remember I kept seeing this there, like, I went there, like, 3 times within the space of, like, 3 weeks. I went there once a week. This was still locked up in their case, even though it was only listed for, like, $2. I'm like, why did they do that? Finally, someone probably said, will you take that piece of shit out of that case and put it on the shelves normally? And that's when I bought it. Nacho Libre, based on the Jack Black movie. And this game is actually pretty fun. It's a wrestling game. But it's not like a button masher or whatever like that. It's just kind of like tactical a little bit. but it's like really super deformed. Like your characters have like weird big heads and all that. There's a lot of mini games from the movie. Like you can play as Escalito. He's got like bugs on his stomach or something. It's actually pretty fun, and I'm surprised. I also have the Napoleon Dynamite game for my PSP, so I had to have this just as like a companion piece. But this is actually the better game because it's actually a game. Napoleon Dynamite's just a bunch of mini games. It's like playing WarioWare. Here's a great series. Iridian was a cool series on the Game Boy Advance, especially the second one. The second one's fantastic. The developer of those games is this company named Shinen, which I absolutely love. I think they do fantastic work. They did a really cool game that I play on my 3DS, which I think is fantastic. It's Nano Assault, which is fantastic. Has some of the coolest graphics on the 3DS ever. But they also made some shooters on the DS, and I had to have those as well. We got Nano Stray and Nano Stray 2. Took me forever to find the sequel, but the first one's pretty easy to find. Fantastic graphics. It's like I'm trying to think of the title. Axelay on the Super Nintendo, where you're kind of like it's like a vertically scrolling shmup, but you're kind of going into the background, so you're kind of angled away from like your camera. It's pretty cool the way it works. And the second one is just absolute craziness, so absolutely had to have these. Nano Stray. Moon was pretty fun, but first-person games aren't great on the DS. Yeah, that's why I was complaining about those Delirium games. Or Dementium. Sorry, Dementium. They're horror first-person shooters on the DS, and if you're a lefty like I am, not the easiest games to play. So here's a series everybody loves. I can't seem to get into it, and it is the new Super Mario Brothers. This also came out on the Wii, and I can't get into this variation of the Mario Brothers formula. I don't know why. For some reason, for me, it just moves too slow. I just can't get into it. Way too much like backtracking and trying to like slow down over here and do this. I just want to plow through these freaking levels like I did in the original Mario Brothers. And like, okay, yeah, you can grow big and become a huge Mario, big whoop. Yeah, I just find these new Super Mario Brothers games really like annoying and slow. I can't do it. Don't ask me why. It just hasn't happened. Still haven't played this one, but I think it's an RPG. It's called Nostalgia. Picked this up for like $2 at Disc Replay when it was still around. Adventure takes flight. An epic new role-playing adventure awaits in Nostalgia. Pilot your customizable airship around the globe and explore an alternate 19th century time period in this danger-filled high-flying adventure. Okay. I was like, all right, it's steampunky. It's an RPG. Sure, why not? Eventually, I'll want to play it. And I will. This one, though. This one right here is the one everybody who has a Nintendo DS needs to play. I picked this up at People Play Games when it was still around. I picked it up on a lark. I read about it in a magazine once, and I was just like, that sounds kind of cool. If I see it, I'll get it, whatever. And it wasn't until I actually held it in my hand and was looking at the back and saw that it said, from the award-winning creators of Doom RPG. So when I first got my iPod, my iTouch, one of the games you could download was like a Castle Wolfenstein RPG and a Doom RPG. And they eventually came out with Doom 2 RPG also. It's like an RPG thing, but you're playing like in first person, like in a Doom game. The Doom enemies are all there, but you don't have it's not a first person shooter where you would just shoot the enemies. You actually had to have like a real-time combat thing going on with them, which is pretty cool, and I liked it a lot. Well, they decided to make a full-on game with that engine, and that's called Orcs and Elves. This game is so much fun. It is awesome. And then, I bought it, started telling everyone I know about it. Like, oh my god, if you have a DS, you need this game in your life. It's fantastic. Buy it now. Sight unseen. Buy it new. Buy it used. Buy it loose. I don't give a shit. Just play it. And then all of a sudden, Metal Jesus talks about it in a video. And I was like, well, no one's going to listen to me anymore. But yeah, it's a first-person RPG that plays like a shooter. And it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend you pick this one up. It is one of the most amazing games I think I've ever played. I had so much fun playing that. Yeah, the disc replay that was by my work had better games than the half-price books. I would walk in there just to look around, and I would walk out with a stack like this. And their prices were pretty decent too, except for the ones that they had all the way in the back. They had like a rack on the wall, all the way in the back of the store behind the counter, almost touching the ceiling. That was like the expensive boxed games for like the Nintendo and the Nintendo 64 and the Genesis. They wouldn't let you even look at them. They wouldn't even tell you what they had. Because we're selling those on our Amazon store. We can't sell them to you here. I'm like, you can either wait for the money to come from Amazon, which Amazon's going to take a chunk of, or I can just direct buy it from you, right? It's like that scene in the 40-Year-Old Virgin, where Jonah Hill's trying to buy those boots from the woman at the We Sell It on eBay store, where he's like, I can just give you the money right now. I don't need to go on eBay and buy it and pay fees, and you pay fees. I can just buy it from you right now because I just want to take them home and put these on, these glitter boots. You know, that's the same situation. They didn't want to hear that shit. They are closed now, by the way. Not surprising. So I was talking about that, what was it? That Ace Attorney game? Apollo Justice Ace Attorney? Well, I also have Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, so I do have the first game in the series. Who thought that was a good idea? Who thought that that was something that would work? It works. Polarium picked us up at the Midwest Gaming Classic. I think it was the first year that I went. So I think that was 2014. Could be. Maybe. 2014, 2015. I can't remember. And basically because a friend of mine, my friend Elizabeth, who was with me, was like, that game's really fun. I highly recommend it. It's really simple. It's just basically a bunch of tapping colored blocks. And she goes, it's simple, but it's addictive. And it was like $1.50. So I said, sure, why not? And it's actually pretty decent. If you want like a little quick time waster, there you go. Populous DS. I remember I used to really like Populous on the Genesis back in the day, so I had to pick up the portable version. And it's okay. It's not the greatest game in the series, but it's not that too bad. But it looks just like I remember Populous looking back in the day, so I can't complain. It's not like they went back and tried to rework the whole thing. Pick these up also at the disc replay that used to be by my work. And I remember everyone telling me about these also, how they're kind of awesome like puzzle games. So we have Professor Lawson and the Diabolic... Or Professor... Let's try that again. Professor Layton and the Diabolical Box, and Professor Layton and the Unwound Future. They're like puzzle games. You use the stylus and you move tiles around. You pick out things out of backgrounds that don't belong, all that kind of stuff to solve puzzles, to flesh out the storyline of what's going on in the game. And it's actually pretty cool. There's a bunch of them. There's also a crossover between Professor Layton and I think Phoenix Wright, I think. It's one of those big franchises like that. This one's kind of funny. Resident Evil, Deadly Silence. I don't know why they just didn't call it Resident Evil DS, because the Deadly Silence is basically supposed to be an abbreviation, or the abbreviation is DS. Why don't you just call it DS? Deadly Silence is such a stupid subtitle. Anyway, it's a remake of the original Resident Evil game on the DS, and it works. It's okay. Could have been better. Controlling with the stylus and all that kind of shit is not fun. So, yeah. It's always fun to have at least a Resident Evil game. And it's always fun to have a couple Shin Megami Tensei games. I love the Shin Megami Tensei series, but I'll be damned if I tell you I've ever beaten one of them. I've played a whole shitload of them. I just never end up completing them. I should probably work on that this year. So I got Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor. This is the first game I ever bought for the DS when I got my 3DS. Like, I had been reading so much stuff about the Shin Megami Tensei series when I got back into collecting in 2013 that, like, I had gotten myself really excited to actually be able to play one at one point. So when I made the decision to buy a 3DS, I bought that Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds one that was gold and had the Triforce all over it. This was the first game I bought for the DS to play on my 3DS, and it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. Devil Survivor is no joke. And also have Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey. I actually have the special edition of this. Comes with the outer box and a CD sampler in there with some music, which I have not opened. Got this at Half Price Books pretty cheaply. I think I got it for $20. But this one I do believe is a remake of the original Shin Megami Tensei game that came out for the Famicom back in the day. So that's kind of cool. But they're like first-person action RPGs with monster fighting and monster breeding and ranchering type things, and also friendship simulator. Okay. Let's move these closer, shall we? Not too many left to go. It's going to be a pretty short video today. This one is pretty awesome. I had no idea that there was an RPG based on this character, but I absolutely had to have it when I found out about it. And that is Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood. It is a Sonic the Hedgehog RPG that's like playing Super Mario RPG. No joke. And it's really good. It's like really, really good. I like this one a lot. I picked this one up, I think, at half-price books, pretty cheap. And couldn't be more happy. I've been reading about it, hearing about it all over the place, and finally got a chance to play it. And I was like, yeah, I need to dedicate more time to it so I can finally beat it. And then I also picked this up, I think, the same exact day. And I was like, this one is not so great. Sonic Rush. It's basically just Sonic speedrunning. Here's a level. Make through it as fast as you can. I want to see what the level looks like. Don't worry about it. Just run. Gotta go fast. Yeah, Sonic Chronicles is awesome. What's up, 8-Bit Glitch? How's it going? I also picked this one up at the Square Enix clearance sale. And I want to say this was like the one where everything that I really was looking for had already been sold out. Like I said, I always look for Chrono Trigger. And it's always the first thing to go because everyone wants a copy of Chrono Trigger. So I got like the dregs that were left. And I wasn't sad. I only paid like $2 for this. But Space Bust a Move. Space Bust a Move. It's Bust a Move in space. It's fun. I love Bust a Move. It's a fun puzzle game. Puzzle Bobble in Japan, if you're nasty. So I enjoy it. It's still sealed though. But I've yet to say that I dislike a Bust a Move game. So I'm going to say that it's pretty awesome. This is weird. This is really, really weird. Okay, so I picked this up thinking that it was a traditional game in this series, and it turns out it is not. Not a bad thing, though. Star Fox Command. So, oh, cool, I can play a Star Fox game on the DS? That's amazing. It's a strategy game. Yeah. There are levels where you do pilot an R-Wing, like in your traditional Star Fox game, but for the most part, you're taking over like enemy territory and like strategy game type things, and then we battle over it in the traditional Star Fox manner. Not expecting that, but you know what? Sometimes a nice surprise is worth it, and I was really surprised by this one, and I liked it a lot. There's also, I talked about it in the PSP video, that there's R-Type Command, which is pretty much the exact same thing as that. It's R-Type strategy game. What gave it away? The word command. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. You guys know that. One of my goals is to get all the Star Trek games for all the consoles. Not computer games. I don't give a shit about computer, but had to have Star Trek Tactical Assault. I also have this on the PSP. PSP version is much better. I got this. I wasn't really actually planning on buying this version of it since I already owned it, but I found it at half-price books for a couple bucks, so I said, well, no. I take that back. I got this from Nintendo Hodge at the Cartridge Club convention like 3 years ago when they came to Skokie, and I bought this off of them for like $2 or $3. So I was like, all right, cool, it's Star Trek, you know, I won't be sad about it. And basically it's just a bunch of skirmishes with Star Trek ships and stuff like that. And the Bethesda games, you know, Bethesda released this one. The Bethesda Star Trek games all kind of play the same. If you've played Star Trek Legacy, that's exactly what every Star Trek game by Bethesda plays like. So I'm not really a fan of that combat style because it's almost like playing, if you've played Star Trek Online, the way the combat works in that, where basically your ship is right in the middle of the screen and you can turn it real slow and angle it for your shield. So if this shield is running low, you can have bad guys blast the other one. And yeah, it's all right. Not the greatest. But Star Trek, there's some decent Star Trek games out there. And this one is one of them, Battlefront. Elite Squadron. This one's okay. It's a squad-based game, but it's not like in the third person like it is on the home consoles. This one's more like an aerial view type of thing. But it's pretty cool. I like this one a lot. I've actually played this one. This one I played and put it down, and I actually talked about this in my bad Star Wars games video from way back when The Force Awakens first came out. It's the Clone Wars Jedi Alliance. There was no good game based on the Clone Wars, ever. I bought this because I was like, sweet, I can play as Ahsoka Tano on a handheld console. This will be fantastic. Nope. Some of the worst ideas for combat ever in this game. So, number one, using the controls on the DS, you don't need them. You don't need the D-pad. You don't need the face buttons. You don't need any of that shit. All you need is your damn stylus. And how does that work? You want your character to move. So you got like Resident Evil style angles. It's like a pre-rendered background. Your character's on the bottom of the screen. They got to get to the top of the screen. How do you get them there? You tap the stylus on the screen where you want them to move to, and they will move there. Once they get there, oh, look, there's an enemy. I want them to attack. How do you get them to attack? You take that stylus, and you repeatedly tap that enemy with the stylus until they're dead. I look like I'm jacking off on my goddamn DS. It's stupid. This game is terrible. Terrible. And now I need a drink. Alrighty then. Steel Princess, still haven't played it, but I think this got an upgrade on the Switch or something recently. So, it's a action RPG. I got it for like $3 brand new on Amazon, so I wasn't going to turn that down. This was the game, another one of the games I got from that guy when I was talking about the new Nintendo 3DS and the Mario Kart DS. Or the new oh, God, I can't talk. New Super Mario Brothers on the DS. Yeah. I also got Super Mario 64 DS, and I fucking hate this game. I hate it. I was never a big fan of Super Mario 64 to begin with, but why did they feel the need to change it? So instead of starting off as Mario like you do in the original game, you start off as Yoshi? Why am I freaking playing as Yoshi? It's stupid. God damn, I hate this game. I hate it. And Wario is in here now? Ugh. That's like the worst port of a game ever. And it's a game that I wasn't a big fan of to begin with, but they made it even worse. This one, on the other hand, is pretty cool. Super Princess Peach. I think this was a Cartridge Club Game of the Month, or Handheld Game of the Month. I will, and I have. You're welcome. Anyway, Super Princess Peach is pretty cool. It's a platformer, but the thing is it sexist? A little bit. Because you play as Peach, but the thing is your powers are derived from your emotions. So, Peach gets pissed, she burns things. Peach gets sad, she cries and things start to grow. Peach gets, like, excited or whatever, she, like, pirouettes and makes little tornadoes and stuff like that. And she can get to higher platforms and stuff. It's cool. It's a cool idea. Little weird in the execution, but it's actually a pretty fun game. It's one of the better Mario games on the DS, as far as I'm concerned, because that Mario 64 DS game is shit. Spit on your grave. Anyway, pick this one up at, I do believe, GameStop, or Game Dude. Yes, Game Dude. When I was visiting my brother in the LA. And I raided their DS section, dude. I walked in there and I was like, what was the one section I avoided when I was here last, because I knew my eyes would cross and I'd go like, give me all the things. It was the DS section, and I rated it the last time I went. The second time I went to visit my brother in LA. And I picked up Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade Attack. It's like a typical beat-em-up arcade game that's kind of like Turtles in Time or the original arcade game. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. It's a fun little time waster. Picked this one also up at Game Dude, and I picked it up because I said, why not? And it's Teenage Zombies, Invasion of the Alien Brain Thingies. And why did I want this? Because it's essentially the Lost Vikings. You have 3 different zombies, or 3 zombies in your little party. Each one does something different. Puzzle platformer, you need to use each of their abilities to get through the level. I like that kind of stuff. The original Lost Vikings is one of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo, so why not? It's actually pretty fun. I also picked this one up at Game Dude. Like I said, I rated their frickin' section, dude. It's called Teresia. It's a horror. I can't remember if it's a first-person game. I wish I could actually read the back because the font... Look at that. The font is so damn small, I can't even read the damn shit. But I can't remember. I think it's a first-person horror game. Haven't played it yet. Why not? This one was also a... Cartridge Club Portable Game of the Month. I want to say maybe a year ago. And the thing was I made a video where I talked about this. I think it was one of my I cannot talk today. I'm so damn tired. It was one of my top 3 Tuesday videos where I talked about Thor, God of Thunder. It's by WayForward. It's a fantastic platform action beat 'em up. And I love this game. It is fantastic. It's kind of like playing Contra, but with a hammer. WayForward made Contra 4 on the DS, and they knocked that shit out of the park. They knocked this one out of the park, too. It is absolutely amazing. I highly recommend this game if you haven't already. I know Captain Algebra played it. Yeah, Thor's awesome. Pick this one up for shits and giggles. I know it's not good. I've played it. I knew it was not going to be good when I bought it, but I absolutely had to have it because of the license. Yeah, there's a game based on Thundercats for the DS, and it is poops. It is the poops. The big poops. It is the turds in the toilet floating around swirly, swirly. Yeah, I picked this up for a whopping $5 off of eBay, and holy shit, I was not prepared by how bad this is. It's essentially just a beat 'em up, but it's just like a really lazy beat 'em up that was like, we made a beat 'em up, but we need some way to sell it. Let's slap the Thundercats on it, and not the good Thundercats either. This is that shitty reboot cartoon from like the early 2000s. Nope. I don't think I've played this one yet, but I know it's a puzzle game. Yeah, find the traces of your past on mysterious Blood Edward Island. Trace Memory. This is also released by Nintendo. Nintendo was getting experimental back in the DS days. But yeah, it's like a puzzle horror mystery game. I haven't played it yet, so I can't really comment. I thought it looked kind of cool. I have played this one. Transformers animated the game. It's like a beat 'em up and a little bit of racing at the same time based on the Transformers cartoon I've never watched. But this is the one where everyone has like really deformed proportions. It's like it doesn't make sense. Even when they transform, they look stupid. But the game itself is not bad. I've played worse Transformers games out there. This one's pretty cool though, but if you know me, you know why I think it's cool. Tron Evolution. I have all the games based on Tron now, although if I want to really complete my set, I need to get my PS3 version of Tron Evolution that comes with the Light Cycle toy. And that thing just randomly jumped up in price, so fuck. But Tron Evolution, it's not a third-person action game like the 360 or PlayStation 3 versions, or even the PSP version. This one's its own thing, and it's kind of like playing Legend of Zelda. You're running around mazes in the grid trying to mostly solve puzzles and stuff like that, but eventually you get to pilot a light cycle and one of the light tanks and stuff like that. There's cool stuff going on. Not the most exciting game. I'd just say go and play the original Tron Evolution game that came out for the 360 and the PS3 and the PSP. They're way better, but this is not too shabby, but it's Tron, so I had to have it. Dude, get on that. Tron is amazing. Nobody understood it when it first came out, but now everybody has a computer in their house. Everybody understands everything in that movie now. And the sequel, I think, is better. Anyway, Ultimate Mortal Kombat. Pick this up at Game Dude. Yes, sir. It's Mortal Kombat 3 on the DS, and it's not good. It plays like crap. It plays like absolute crap. Those buttons on the DS are not good for fighting games, like, at all. And I highly regret picking this one up. But it's Mortal Kombat. I want all the Mortal Kombat games, so it's going to stay in my collection. And it's just not a good port of a Mortal Kombat game. I don't know why I keep buying games in the series, but I do, and I probably have a big collection of games I'm probably never going to play. Warhammer 40K Squad Command. It's another one of the many, many Warhammer games I've purchased over the years when I've never played the tabletop version of it. So why am I interested? I'm usually not, but whatever. There's a couple of games in the series, I think for the 360 and the PlayStation 2, that are first-person shooters and are actually pretty cool. But this one is a squad tactics game, so there you go. Found that at Half Price Books. Picked this one up because WayForward. I've never even seen the movie, but I've read the book. When I was a little kid, I read the book this is based on. But Where the Wild Things Are, yeah, there's home ports of that movie. Not something that I hope anybody talks about in any of my movies that would make great video games, because this got made, number one, but I don't think it would have made for a great game anyway, because this is not a good game. WayForward, like I said, craps out licensed games like no one's business. They try. I'll give them that. They try, but for the most part, no. This one doesn't work. This one I picked up because of Radical Reggie, and what was I just saying about playing Mortal Kombat on the DS? Not good for fighting games. Radical Reggie was talking about this game for the longest time, and he convinced me that I needed to pick it up. And I did, and I can't stand it. It's called Windy X Wyndham. It's a one-on-one fighting game on the DS, and the DS sucks for fighting games. I'm sorry, it does. I cannot play with that stupid D-pad and those buttons. They are too shallow, and they don't... I can't do it. I just can't. And plus, it makes my hands cramp. I don't know why. Not good. This, on the other hand, is kind of awesome. Wizard of Oz Beyond the Yellow Brick Road. I never in a million years would buy a game based on the Wizard of Oz. Never. But why did I buy this one then? Because it's an RPG. Wizard of Oz RPG. And it is actually really good. Like, really good. Like, really, really good. It has no business being this good. I like it a lot. That is a fantastic idea. And I like it when somebody takes a license that I could give two squirts about and turns it into something that I might be interested in, and it worked with this one. I highly recommend The Wizard of Oz. That is a fantastic game. Captain Algebra, at least get the soundtrack by Daft Punk. Yes! The soundtrack to Tron Legacy is fantastic. I picked this one up at Half Price Books. Didn't realize what it was. It's shovelware. But I kept it because, why not? It's horror, I guess. Witches and Vampires... The Secrets of Ashbury. I played this for like a good day just to see what it was because I think this is when I first got into collecting for the 3DS when I was getting all the DS games. I picked this one up and I don't know why I still have it. I'll probably keep it because whatever. It's trying so hard to be Twilight though. I mean, just look at that cover. Just look at it. Emo shit. But the game isn't too bad. You have to like... You play as like a witch or a vampire. The boy is a vampire. The girl is a witch. If you play as the witch, if you want to do spells, you have to draw like pentagrams and stuff on the touchscreen. I mean, it's kind of fun in certain ways, but for the most part, it's like trying to just play up to that tweeny demographic, and it just... And the last game I have to talk about is something that's still sealed, because I got this at the Square Enix clearance sale, and now I have the port of this to the Nintendo Switch, so it's kind of like, why do I even have this anymore? But I'll keep it because. And that is The World Ends With You. It's an RPG / beat 'em up, I think. And I wanted it because it sounded interesting, but now that I have the Switch version, I probably will never crack this one open, ever. So there you go. And that's it. That's it for my DS. I have, think, just over 120 games or something like that. That's pretty cool. When it comes to the 3DS, I have way less, so that's going to be a short video. I might mix that in with the Vita when I get there. But I think the next console I'm going to talk about is the Wii. I think the Wii came out before the 360 and the PS3, didn't it? I think so. So yeah, Wii is next. There's a good number of games for that. That'll fill out a decent video. But yeah, I still have the Captain Algebra inspired top 10 NES games video that I need to work on. I would have worked on it last week if I didn't get sick. Just get rid of the Switch port. Sure. Yeah, so that top 10 NES games I'm definitely going to start working on. I also have another Diamond in the Rough about licensed games coming out. I've decided that I am going to do my Retron 77 review, even though it's way out of date. So why not? And then also all the Midwest Gaming Classic stuff's coming up. It's a month, almost a month, a little over a month until the Midwest Gaming Classic. So you're going to see some content about that. A lot of content about that. Definitely going to be a video about the panel. Definitely going to be my top 5 things I'm looking for at the Midwest Gaming Classic. There's going to be a live stream all about the games I pick up at the Midwest Gaming Classic, probably the day after the convention, because I'm off that whole week. Also, don't forget, tomorrow is another live stream on my channel. Tomorrow is my February pickup live stream, so don't forget to come back for that. I'm going to actually put the reminder up for that on my channel once this is over. A lot of games I picked up this month. A lot of games. I got my bonus this month, so yeah, shit got spent. But there will be no pickup live stream at the end of March, because March is going to be a dead zone. I'm not buying any new games at all in anticipation of the Midwest Gaming Classic. So when I do my Midwest Gaming Classic pickup video after the con is over, the first weekend of April, I will mix it in with whatever games end up showing up in the mail that I have pre-ordered or whatever there. So don't expect a pickup video for March, because there'll probably be 2 games in there, and it'll be the shortest stream ever. So don't worry about that. So keep an eye out for some content coming up on the channel. I hope I see you guys tomorrow for my pickup video. And until next time, I'm Chris, the old-ass retro gamer, signing off. Have a good night, everybody. I'm going to go play some video games. See you later.